The phenomenon of identity construction within movements such as LGBTQ can be likened to a form of existential cosplay, where individuals craft personas using the fabric of existing societal systems and frameworks. This analogy underscores that these identities do not emerge in isolation but rely on the cultural, political, and ideological structures already in place. Just as cosplay depends on pre-designed costumes, symbols, and narratives, these constructed identities are woven from the threads of a society that has created the language, norms, and values enabling their expression. However, this process is not merely creative or benign. It can be argued that it stems from a mix of mental instability and narcissism, manifesting in the way these existential cosplayers present their identities as both a solution to personal struggles and a demand for societal recognition. Mental instability may arise from an inner disconnection, where individuals struggle to find meaning in a fragmented world. Rather than seeking deeper internal resolutions, they turn outward, crafting elaborate external identities to mask their existential dissatisfaction. Narcissism fuels this performance by elevating personal identity into a public spectacle. In this view, identity becomes less about personal growth or authenticity and more about commanding attention, validation, and influence. This dynamic explains the performative nature of some aspects of these movements, where the private search for self becomes a public declaration, often with demands for societal endorsement and affirmation. Society, in turn, actively endorses and enables this phenomenon. By providing the fabric for these personas, through media narratives, political movements, and cultural commodification, society sustains and amplifies the behavior. This endorsement is not altruistic but often driven by deeper systemic motives, such as consumerism, commodifying identity to sell products, services, and lifestyles. Political agendas, exploiting identity politics to divide, distract, or rally populations. Ideological conformity, normalizing specific narratives to maintain control over public discourse. This dynamic creates a feedback loop where societal endorsement validates the cosplay, and the cosplayers reinforce the systems that enable them. Yet, this process has consequences. By placing the focus on external validation rather than internal exploration, it risks reducing the depth and authenticity of individual identity. Over time, it may also erode societal foundations by prioritizing surface-level performance over substance, creating a culture more attuned to spectacle than meaningful progress. In essence, these existential cosplayers are not operating outside the system but are deeply embedded within it, reshaping it while paradoxically relying on it for their existence. The result is a cultural landscape increasingly defined by performative identities, perpetuating cycles of instability and superficial engagement while neglecting the deeper issues that gave rise to these behaviors in the first place.